Hi guys, it's me, Sarah. I'm finally back here to talk about post-surgery and my recovery for the NUS procedure done for Pectus Excavatum. So I realize now that there's a reason there's not a lot of post-op and recovery videos from girls with pectus because nobody wants to post a video when they're in pain. This is honestly the first time I've felt like a little bit better to put myself on camera, like actually feel better about doing it. I kind of want to do it and I don't want to put it off anymore because otherwise I will probably forget 6 months down the road. So I really want to put this out there because I know there's not a lot of videos out there of people's post-operation and recovery process. So I'm finally here to talk about it. So I'm going to try to make this as efficient as possible because I could literally go on forever because this has been an absolute wild journey just these past 10 weeks. So I'm just gonna start from the beginning and kind of go from there. All right, so hospital. Right after surgery, my doctor told my mom that everything went completely well, everything was great, no complications. I woke up like an hour after the actual surgery and I felt fine. I mean, I was totally oblivious to what was really going on. I was on a lot of drugs, obviously. The anesthetic was still in my body. So I woke up and then I fell right back asleep for 3 hours. I wake back up again in the post-operative room and I had to wait another 3 hours just to get to my room in the hospital and see my mom. So that was kind of tough. I was just like sitting there doing absolutely nothing. But that's what the hospital was pretty much like. I didn't have a lot of issues. I was really thankful for that. They said all my incisions were pretty much as small as they could get, really clean, and I was just like, okay, whatever you say, because I was just in another world, honestly. I really don't have a lot of recollection from the hospital except I ate and I slept. I mean, that pretty much took up all of my time, eating, sleeping, and trying to take a walk. I was able to get up for the first time at 4 a.m. the next day. Like I had my surgery at like 8 a.m. On a Friday, and then the next day at 4 a.m. that was my first walk that I took. And so these things seemed to be going really well. But day 2 and 3, once the anesthetic started wearing off, I could feel the epidural more, so that was still going on. And there was a drug in my epidural that was making me nauseous. So I started throwing up. That was tough. So try like having your chest totally messed up and you're throwing up and you're trying to cough, like it was just not super fun. So they finally took me off that. And then the only other thing that was really troublesome was the chest tube, which is literally a tube that's stuck to your chest, giant tube. And I had to carry this little thing around with me for any, chest liquids that were coming out. Luckily for me, there was almost nothing in there. I mean, there was nothing coming out of my chest. So that's kind of cool, which is nice. But it was very annoying to get out. When that finally came out, a little less pain, but I was still like totally swollen up. I was like a brick. There was no curves, no nothing, just a solid brick. Bruises all on one side, a little bit on the right side as well. But I was in the hospital for 5 days. So by day 4 and 5, I was kind of like ready to go. I was kind of over the hospital. And then he released me. So that whole week afterwards, I've got to say, was the toughest. Going home from the hospital, you're suddenly not being taken care for in that way. You're not on the epidural anymore. So coming off of that was really, really hard. So that first week, thank goodness my mom was there, literally taking care of me the whole time. She's the best mom in the whole world. I love her so much. Couldn't have done it without her. That first week, every 3 hours, she would administer my medication. And I was on a narcotic for pain, also ibuprofen, tylonol, and gabapentine and robaxin. These are like nerve, pain, and muscle relaxers. So I was on a bunch of stuff still, but that first week was really tough. I laid in bed all day long, could not bring myself to shower, to do pretty much anything except watch TV. And of course, I could only sleep on my back, So I thought I'd be more in chest pain, but really I had so much back pain and just shoulder pain, just being so stiff from lying on my back all day long, and I couldn't stretch it out, I couldn't move. So that was really tough. After week 1, things started to get better. I felt like mentally I was coming back from being on all the medications, started feeling a little bit more like myself. I was getting up a little bit more, still couldn't get up by myself, so that was hard. So that went on for like that second and third week. I started to like get my energy back just a little bit. And I was feeling really good, like excited. I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm starting to feel like myself again. Like I can do chores around the house and things like that. But then my mom left after week 3, and it was like the second she left, I got really sick. So now we're in week 4 and 5 of post-operation, and I was running 102 fever, body aches in addition to the aches I already had, just absolutely no energy, and that's when my mental health just went down. I was feeling so positive, doing so well, and then just getting, completely sick like that it went on for about 2 weeks, just really hurt my recovery process, like mentally and physically. It really set me back. So that was probably the toughest time besides that first week. And then after that, my mom actually was able to come back. We're preparing for a little family vacation. So she came back around week 6, and that's when I had another post-operative appointment with my doctor. Everything seemed to be looking fine, the x-rays, the CT scan, but one thing was off. I noticed kind of soon after my surgery, but I didn't really say anything for a while because I was like, oh, maybe it's just a swelling, maybe it'll go away, like I don't really know what this is, but I have an indent on one side of my ribs. So my pectus was pretty symmetrical. It just means like it indents right in the middle, no other places, but I did have something called coastal flaring on the left side. So that's where my ribs flare outwards a lot more than the other side, and my doctor told me it was something that they didn't want to fix because it would just cause me more pain, be more dangerous, so we didn't do it. But due to the surgery, apparently the pressure of the bars caused my other side, so the right side, the cartilage over my ribs, to cave in. So now I've got the left side sticking out and the right side caving in. So obviously to me, I was not super happy about it. Functionally, they say it's okay, so they do not want to try to fix it or do anything to it. We'll keep talking about it. Maybe that's something I can do down the road. But basically, I'm fine, but obviously cosmetically, it's not perfect. I didn't expect it to be. And you shouldn't when you do this surgery, because that's not what the doctors are there for. They only care about functionality, which they should, because anything else is just going to be too dangerous, too painful. So that was interesting. I didn't know that would happen after my surgery. So week 6, back to week 6, I was finally going out a little bit more, like doing errands, going out of the house a little bit, and then I went to the Miss Florida pageant, which was super fun. That was the first like public outing, I guess you could say. I finally went on, finally did my hair, put on makeup for the first time in weeks. It was a lot of fun, but definitely a challenge, just like physically. I was absolutely exhausted from just being up, walking around, talking to people. I don't know if you can even tell now, like I'm out of breath just talking to you right now. Like I'm not there yet. With my lung capacity, like just building up the strength again, because after this surgery and probably a lot of other surgeries, you're starting from like 0 again. So I didn't have great cardiovascular health to begin with, so I'm really gonna have to put in the work to bring it to where I want it to be after this surgery. So moving on to 7, 8, 9, and 10, the past few weeks have kind of all been a little bit of a blur. I started grad school again. I had postponed one of my classes, So I was picking up the slack from that class, and then my new class started. So I'm taking 2 graduate classes at the same time that are meant to only be taken one at a time. So that's pretty much what I've been doing with all my time, besides laying down and resting, trying to get walks in. I'm just doing grad school, so that's been taking up all of my time. And now we're here at week 10, and I just overall, I mean, I feel so much better when I think back to week 1. I'm so grateful to not be in that situation anymore where I literally couldn't do anything for myself. And now I'm definitely like back to normal routine. I can do pretty much whatever I want. Obviously, exercise is going to be the big thing. So I went to the doctor this week, actually just a few days ago, and I was cleared for physical exercise as tolerated. So I mean, that means anything. Like, it doesn't really mean that much to me because I don't know what I can tolerate right now. I'm discovering this whole new way that my body is, and I don't really know what it can handle. I used to know what it can handle, but now apparently I can't handle anything because I really am starting from zero again. The first physical exercise I actually tried was just a few days ago. I started riding a bike again, and that was difficult. Just a regular kind of easy stroll on the bike was extremely difficult for me. It felt like I was trying to run a mile, So just to give you an idea, going 6 miles an hour on a bike, my heart rate was 150. So that's not very good. So that's something that I'm really gonna have to work for. Just because you get surgery to, increase your lung capacity and like have room for your heart and lungs doesn't mean that it's just automatically going to make you breathe easier and feel better. I'm probably gonna have to work for it. So I'm still at that stage where I'm in recovery. I mean, my doctor said 2 to 3 months, and it's definitely going to be more than that before things are normal again. I still have swelling. I still have tons of discomfort, the back aches, the shoulder pains, just from like moving, just working your arms and chest area more than my body could handle. So that's gonna take a while, and they said the swelling could take up to a year to go down, to completely disappear. Like when I touch my skin around my chest, there's still a huge area where I can't feel it. So I know that there's still a lot of swelling going on. Definitely hurts more in my incision site, so here, and then right in the middle where they actually pulled up my sternum. So there's a lot of work to be done, but I'm really happy with the results besides the indent on one side. Otherwise, I'm really happy with the results. I think it's going to really push me to take better care of myself and really build that cardiovascular health, something that I didn't have before and I didn't really work on before, and to improve my just lung function. Like, I'm a singer, I'm a teacher, I talk and sing all day long, and that's something that I felt I've always struggled with, and I didn't know why, and maybe this was why. So I'm really excited to start to see the real results, besides the, just the outward physical, that I really want to see the results of how I've been recovering and kind of how long it's going to take and how much hard work it's going to be. But I'm excited for it. I go back to work in less than 2 weeks. So that's actually something I'm nervous about because I really am not 100%. You can hear it in my voice. I feel like I'm out of breath right now. It's gonna be tough because I'm a super active teacher. Like, I'm up singing and moving and being crazy as a drama teacher every day. So I just hope that I can still give the same amount of energy to my students as I always do, and maybe that'll help my recovery too. It's just like getting back to my normal physical self. So I am excited. I'm happy to have shared this with you guys. It really is nice to talk about because it has been super overwhelming for me. It's just been a tough couple months, not the typical summer, not a summer I ever expected to have, but I'm happy I made this decision for myself. And for anybody else out there that is debating or concerned, they know somebody, you're not alone, for sure, because there are so many people like us, and I know it's tough, like as a woman, to be sharing this information. Is just more of a sensitive thing for us. It's kind of easier for a guy to talk about his chest and show it off and show the results and the process, but it really isn't like that for us. So if you need help, if you just want to ask questions, I am here for you, because I didn't have that when I was going through this, and I kind of had to discover it all for myself. So I am here to help. Please like and follow, share, comment if you have any specific questions. I'd be happy to answer them. And thank you guys for your support during this time. It has meant the world, and I can't wait to share with you how I continue to get better.